Shalom, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to our latest edition of the TJC2 for You newsletter. We thank you so much for your prayers and support and encouragement that you share with us over the weeks, months, and years. So I have a special guest with me today, Rabbi Ari Waldman from Baruch Hashem Messianic Synagogue in Dallas, Texas. And he has just returned from Israel with a group of people that he pulled together to go over and serve the people of Israel, to bring encouragement, actually to help harvest, to paint, to rebuild. And this is Rabbi Ari Waldman. Welcome to our newsletter this week.
Thanks for having me.
So Ari, tell us why you decided to pull a group together, and how many people did you have? And tell us why you pulled a group together to go over to Israel during a time of war.
There were 9 of us that went, and part of my motivation was to serve as a support, to serve as a shoulder, to lean on to those in Israel, and to be a visible presence of support especially from America, because Israelis see the news that the world doesn't like them, that the American government may or may not support them. And so I wanted to be there as a physical encouragement, just by our presence being there was part of it. And then secondly, we found projects to do to serve both the Israeli public and also ministry partners that we have.
So tell us how many people came with you.
So there were 9 of us, including myself and 8 others.
So you had a minyan. You had 10 people who were working together.
We had almost a minyan. we actually ended up with a minyan most of the time, because we were joined by a couple people in the land of Israel on different days for different projects.
So Rabbi Ari, give us an idea of, one of the projects that you did, or a couple of the projects.
Well, the first project that we did, actually, I think everybody on the team would say was our favorite, was one, if not our favorite, one of the top 2, and that was harvesting. We went down to a kibbutz that's about 1 kilometer from the border of Gaza, and we harvested grapefruit. This kibbutz, they normally export the grapefruit. We found out from one of the people from the kibbutz, who he actually isn't even living there. He's living in Tel Aviv. They won't let him live there. And so he drove down, met us, and we harvested, I think it was about 120 trees worth of grapefruit. And normally they export the grapefruit, but they're not exporting right now. So what they're doing is it's for use for juices and for cocktails and all around the land of Israel. And he said it didn't matter if it was ripe or not, get it off the tree so that it doesn't ruin the tree in the long run.
Now, I suspect that none of you in your group have ever done that before.
I don't think so. I never asked anybody if they'd harvested grapefruits, but I've never done it.
So what did everybody think? Were they tired at the end of the day?
So we worked, I'm going to say it was about 4 hours. And we were exhausted by the end of the 4 hours. We harvested basically a construction dumpster and a half worth of grapefruit. There was a couple other laborers there, a couple Thai and a couple other, I think it was a yeshiva school from New York or something like that, who came. But we were there for about 4 hours, and we harvested a lot.
So were any of your group or you nervous about being so close to the Gaza Strip?
Actually, every single one of us. Well, first of all, let me say this. There was overhead a couple helicopters and a drone that were serving on what is called Overwatch, where they can see long distances in support of ground troops. And so we heard ground fire, machine gun fire. We heard some sort of artillery. We saw some fighter jets come down they would come fly sorties every 10 to 20 minutes. And all of that to say, to me, it was actually calming. It's a weird thing to say, but picking the grapefruit and hearing the activity in the background was almost like it was like a soothing lull for me. And I don't mean that in the like I love gunfire sort of way. It's just it was odd how safe that we felt, and everyone in the team felt that way. And protected, yeah.
So, during your time, you did numerous projects. And so why would you have to take a group all the way to Israel just to harvest grapefruits or just to help somebody rebuild something?
Actually, a lot of people asked us those questions who were nervous and concerned about us going, family, friends, so on and so forth. And one of my friends, one of the answers that she provided, which I think is the right answer, is when someone's in distress, it means one thing to go, hey, we're praying for you, we love you, and that's an encouragement. I'm not saying it's not an encouragement, but it's another thing when that person comes and they put their arm around you and say, we love you, we want to pray for you right now. Is there something that we can do to help you in this moment? And just that's just in terms of person to person, and this is in terms of now people to people. But I think the metaphor.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you told me one story that I think you guys had gone out to coffee or having lunch or something in some restaurant, and an older couple had overheard some of your conversation of you being there and helping and that sort of thing. What happened?
Yeah, we were in a city that's not a tourist city, so that
it was an Israeli couple that was sitting.
So we were there, and really there's not very many tourists there at all. Certainly not like I've ever seen. And we're telling the owners we were in an ice cream store, and we were telling the owners of the ice cream store, they were asking why we're getting ice cream. And so one of the members of our team was Israeli, and she was explaining in Hebrew, what we were doing, and this couple overheard that was sitting behind her, and they didn't ask any questions. They just said, "Listen, we own a minibus rental company. We will provide a minibus for you the whole time you're here. We'll drive you around and to do all of the works free of charge, no charge." They were so moved that we would come from America to Israel, just to do little projects.
That's amazing. So would you say overall that your group was not only tired from doing work, but I mean encouraged by being there?
Oh yeah, we were very encouraged. Everyone in our group walked away with a new sense of purpose while they're here in America, of involved in conversations, and the normal accusations of Israel's doing this. Now they have some tangible eyewitness recollections that they can say, look, it's not happening. We were so moved by the people there. It's one of the most diverse societies in the world. Not only in terms of ethnic diversity, but in terms of religious diversity. I don't know many places where they allow the call to worship for Muslims to be a public thing in every public city, but it is in Israel. And so one of our group members noted, she said, I didn't think about the call to worship and how it occurs basically all day, every day. And she said, there's no protest against it, and there's not, because it's just a regular freedom in Israel.
Well, Ari, thank you so much for sharing some of your testimony from over there. Would you just look into the camera and share with the people what you feel like they could do at this moment in history, in this moment in time, in terms of Israel at war?
Well, I feel like you can do a couple things. Number one is, I know I said it's one thing to do and one thing to do more, but the number one most important thing you can do is pray. Prayer is a highly important thing in our aspect as believers. The next most important thing you can do is find someone who's in Israel who you can encourage. Find a ministry partner that you can support, or just say, hey, listen, I'm praying for you specifically. Do you have any prayer requests for me? Is there anything I can do for you here in America or wherever you live? And then thirdly, I would say find a Jewish community near where you are and just go tell them, hey, I just want you to know, well, if you're Jewish or not Jewish, you can do this, and say, I just want you to know that I'm praying for you guys. I love you. I love the state of Israel. I love the people of Israel. I just want to support you. Let me know if there's anything you need.
Yeah, I think particularly in light of all the anti-Semitism, the rise of anti-Semitism all over the world, here in the U.S. included. And I think the encouragement, just a little encouraging word to someone in the Jewish community can help tremendously. So Rabbi Ari, thank you so much for joining us on this TJC2 episode of our newsletter. And it's very encouraging to know that there are people who are willing to sacrifice time, energy, money, and even walk into dangerous areas just to help the people of Israel. And he didn't mention it, but they fed a lot of soldiers over there and serving, food and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was actually the other thing that everyone loved, was feeding the soldiers and hearing their testimonies and how moved they were that we were even there.
Yeah.
And, maybe they've been eating MREs or whatever on the field for 4 months, and then they got to come out and we had hamburgers and steaks and salads. And
of course, you couldn't go into Gaza, otherwise you might have done that too. But anyway, thank you so much. So friends, thank you so much again for watching this episode of TJC2 for you. And we bless you and thank you, and please ask you to please pray for TJC2 as we continue our effort of bringing Jewish and Gentile believers in Yeshua together in reconciliation and restoration, just like it was in the first century after Acts 15. So thank you. If you'd like to send a donation to TJC2, please just click the button below. It says donate or donation, and may the Lord bless you. Shalom, shalom.